how to share the gospel with my brother-in-law during Ramadan.
Yeah, I posted a video recently how to share unpleasant facts with pleasant Muslims, because people watch my videos and sometimes they think, oh, David, you're blasting away at Islam all the time. Is that the way I should talk to a Muslim? No, this is the way I do it on YouTube. If I'm talking to someone, gonna try to have the most effective method possible. And it's interesting. One of the reasons I love the book Tactics, which you mentioned, one of the reasons I love the book Tactics is because after years of interacting with Muslims, I had the sort of approach I used, and then when I read Tactics, it was the sort of opening discussion moves were very similar to what I had learned from experience. And so Greg encourages people to ask lots of questions and so on, and I broke it down like this: in order to have a discussion, and Ramadan's a perfect time. If you have a Muslim relative or friend or something like that, Ramadan's a perfect time. You can just start asking questions and I encourage people to start with what I call what questions, like, what do you believe about this? Hey, what's Ramadan? Right? What's Ramadan? What does Islam teach? What do you believe about God? What do you believe about Jesus? What do you believe about the Bible? What do you believe about the Quran? Your average Muslim would love to answer these questions, right? Your average Muslim would love for you to ask him questions about his religion, because he wants to tell you about his great religion, right? So start off with these kinds of what questions. What do you believe about this? What do you believe about that? What do you believe about this? And I just let them talk. I don't criticize. I don't challenge them anything. Just get all the information. You want to know what this person believes. Then after a while, once you've gotten through those, then I would transition into some why questions. Why do you believe that about God? Why do you believe that about the Quran? Why do you believe that about Jesus? Why do you believe that about the Bible? Why do you believe that about Ramadan? And so now you start getting into the person's reasons for believing in these things. And then once you've got through all of that, fortunately, if you're, if it's a friend, a relative, something like that, brother-in-law, then you're going to be seeing this person over again. So if I know, I'll be seeing this person again, I kind of just leave it there and just say, hey, if I want to go look up some of the things you gave, because you gave me reasons for what you believe. Would you mind if I looked into some of those reasons, and if I have any questions, I could come back to you? And again, your average Muslim's going to be like, wow, fine, cool. Right? They're going to think it's kind of Christians. Just imagine a Muslim asking you questions about your religion, and you're giving him answers. And then he says, hey, would you mind if I look into some of this? Most Christians would think that's really, really awesome. So Muslims are like that. And so then you say, hey, would you mind if I looked into some of these? And whatever reasons he gave you, now notice, you don't have to study all of Islam. You have to study those particular reasons that he gave. So if he says that the perfect preservation of the Quran is the miracle that has convinced him that Islam must be the truth and the Quran must be true, go study that. It's very easy. All of their arguments are very easy. And then you come back, and even then you could phrase things in the form of questions instead of, phrasing them as attacks. So that, if you want to address, let's say, the issue of the preservation of the Quran, this is just an example, but you come back and you say, now you said that you believe in Islam because the Quran has been miraculously preserved. I was looking into this and I found this passage in the Hadith, which talks about entire chapters of the Quran coming up missing. I was wondering how you reconciled something like that with your belief in the perfect preservation of the Quran. Notice you're not blasting, you're not coming in guns blazing. You're asking him for more information, but as you're doing
that stone in his shoe.
Yeah, as you're doing it, you're giving him information that is new information, because his leaders definitely did not tell him this. And so you keep doing that. You keep coming back with questions. Oh, you said this about Muhammad. Well, how do you reconcile that with this? And you're giving him more information that his leaders didn't give him before. And eventually you keep getting more and more information into his head. And in his mind, it's going to keep bothering him. He's going to end up with all kinds of stones in his shoe. And he's going to be sitting here thinking, wait a minute, why do my leaders tell me all these things? And it completely contradicts everything that this guy's showing me from my own sources. And eventually there's a light switch moment when the Muslim thinks, wait a minute, I can't just mindlessly trust what my leaders told me anymore, because I see that they have not given me the entire story. I need to look into this for myself. And once he's ready to look into it for himself, that's a guy who's on his way out of Islam.